He's me pulling faces, and I forgot the countdown to finish. We're actually live now. Hey guys, you've got Fernando and Gary here. How are you? How are you, mate?
Man, we're doing great. We're doing great. Finally back, and I was like so excited to start this.
Sorry,
It's been like a month, right? You good? You good?
Yep.
It's been a crazy month with my work schedule, and it's kept me from doing a lot of social media stuff and recording. So I'm just happy to be back. Finally.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, mate.
Oh yeah. By the way, love the glasses.
Yeah, before we start recording, I showed him a couple of new pairs of glasses that I've got specifically for podcasting. So the other pair, which you will see in another show, we had this mega, how do I put it, like OCD times infinity and beyond. This girl with the frizzy long hair, and she was like, super, try these ones. And after 15 minutes, we'd been through 3/4 of the entire store trying different glasses. And I said, I only want them ones. And I put them on, and she turns and she goes, oh my God, you look like an older Teddy Swims. Great. I just need a few face tattoos and got to be able to sing.
Man. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's a very popular singer and he's not bad. We're actually going to see him later in the year. But, he's a built bloke, bald with beard and everything. So I get that. I don't have the big bloody dangly holes in my ears that he has. But yeah, anyway, I went with it. Got the glasses. They're in the case right there, and you'll see them in another podcast. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. Prepping things up. As you can see, I've been not changing things, but readjusting lights and trying to find some better, make the most out of the fact that we were having a little break with Jeremy being on holiday overseas and with you doing your shift work and stuff like that. I'll just do my usual sort of normal shift stuff. So yeah, I tried to get a few different things. So you'll see us in different views from week to week. So keep things interesting and everything. And
different, spicy.
Yeah. But obviously first night back, and Jeremy was supposed to be in, but he's working like crazy now. So he may be in next week. We will see, but he will be back very soon. And yeah, we've had a few little hiccups. We did try to record last week. I put a little video out explaining that there was a few technical issues, which all goes down to a light that's on the floor over there, which I'm not going to use again. It was when I was trying to do this one here. Now, what leads into that is normally I would have, in this view, I would have a secondary light just down here just to light up my eyes because they look a little bit dead in this angle here. But everything's fully charged in the bag. You might be able to see some camera gear behind me. I'm not sure. That's why I've left a lot of the lights off that I would normally have on. But we're going out on an adventure tomorrow, an expedition, and we're going to be out for a couple of days now. I did go over this with Fernando, and we thought, this would probably be a pretty decent little topic to talk about. So what we're going to talk about is going camping in creepy places where you feel like there are eyes on you all the time. And I'm not talking about the creepy people in the tent next door. I'm talking about things in the woods and stuff. And just remember that if you're getting changed or if you're doing anything dodgy, make sure the lights are in the right angle so you're not giving them that silhouette shot from Austin Powers.
Jesus. Wow, somebody's planning some good times
on the
there.
umbrella out, shaboom, to top it all off.
Oh man,
it was supposed to be a really stormy weekend, and we thought this is going to be really fun getting the tent up and down in the rain. Now the weather seems to have changed. The 5 o'clock this morning, it was absolutely hammering down. I thought, it's not going to work. It's really not going to work. But luckily, it ended up being quite a nice day. Now, tomorrow, they're saying a few light showers, which it's all good when you're camping with a few light showers. And then the day after that, it's supposed to be sunny all day. And we're camping out then as well. We're actually spending a couple of nights down. I'm not going to mention the location, but I've got every bit of kit. I'm so excited I can't even talk properly. Every bit of kit and gear ready to go. The only thing that hasn't been packed yet is this camera right here, because once we finish recording tonight,
It will be getting reconfigured into a 4K format, and I will be putting a log file across it all so I can color grade it all and everything. And I have night vision cameras, I have thermal imaging cameras, I have you name it, because we're going out looking in a place which has got a lot of heavy yowie activity going on at the moment. There have been lots of reports there. There is a world famous yowie investigator who is literally investigating the area where we're camping out as we speak. We may even bump into him on the trail. And we've got a couple of nights there. We've actually, here in Western Australia, I was contacted by a guy who's actually starting up another team, and he wanted some advice on how to do it all, and he wants to come out with us and stuff like that. Now, he's got himself remember we've done a lot of shows on witches and things like that, and there are a lot of different subcategories of witch, depending on, I can't remember them all now. There's a lot of different niches and everything. Now, he has a witch on his team who investigates with him, and he's got a cameraman, which is strange, but he wants to actually start investigating and filming it all, and I think he has started his own channel up. He's got a pretty cool logo, so we'll go into that later because we're going to actually have him on the show and interview him. He'll be in this studio here with me, actually, so that'll be an interesting kind of interview. I've just got to adjust his camera right down, his seat right down, because I'm in the higher 5 foot range. I'm not going to go any higher than that, but he's like, 7'6" or something. He's he's basketball level. He's probably 6'5", 6'6", something like that. Wow. So I need to shrink him down so it's at about the same height. But we've invited him and his team along, and we're going to sort of do a little bit of a collaboration investigation. So what we've done, this particular location where we're going, we've got a old cemetery out in the middle of the bush, which we've investigated in the past, and we've had a lot of activity there. So that is an absolutely freak out of a place to go in and of itself. That's a whole investigation of itself. So I've got a bag there with the only stuff I haven't taken my spectrum analyzer and things like that, because we're not looking for UFOs tomorrow night. But if one decides to fly over, we'll get it on film. And
damn, hold on. So first of all, I wish you guys the best. I personally, I've never gone camping, but it seems like you guys are setting yourself up to be like in some sort of Blair Witch kind of scenario. Hopefully everything goes good. But you guys are going to be out investigating a Yowie site while there's a cemetery.
It's an area where there is a lot of Yowie activity. And
I mean, how dense are we talking about? Like, how dense of a forest or jungle that you guys are going to be in?
Well, it's sort of... All right, so we head down the Southwest Highway, and you're already well out into the sticks there. You're in the dark skies territory. If you're a photographer that likes to do night sky photography, you look for places that have got dark skies. So there are dark sky maps that you can... the apps that you can get, and you can set, okay, I want to be here or here. This is in one of those locations where there's no street lights, there's none of that kind of, or maybe a couple of street lights. There's a couple of little, because there are spotted houses in and around, but they're sort of like spread out quite a bit.
Okay.
But for the most part, this wooded area, if I want to put, basically it goes from way north of where we are, this forested area, then there's a break where there's a couple of towns, and then it's back in this forested area. Probably an hour north of me is where it starts. And if you're driving at over 110, you could be driving for another 5 or 6 hours and you're still in this same wooded area. That's in the straight line. That's not even when you go back the other way as well.
Jeez.
So it's a pretty big area. Now, what happened was this Yowie investigator, I won't mention his name because he's going to be coming on as a guest soon as well. But I've talked with him a few years ago, and we talked about things because he's been tracking reports, and he's mapped out migration patterns based on these reports. I don't know how he's done that, because you can't really tell if it's a specific family, but
He's noticing that reports are happening in certain areas, and as a result of that, he's going, well, these are active areas. These are active areas. I'm going to pre-plan and say, okay, this is where the next lot. And then he waits, and then they start popping up there. So he's actually worked out where they are and where they're heading. And I'm talking about from Queensland, from the northeast corner of Australia, which is like up around your Washington area, all the way down to your South California kind of thing. He's mapped them that far. And we're in the southwest here, so he came over about 4 years ago because he wanted to get ahead of the reports, and like he planned, the reports started happening, and he and his investigation partner, I mean, they've got over 50,000 subscribers on their channel anyway. They go out quite regularly, and I was in contact with him maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he said there's a lot of heavy activity. They found footprints, they found scat, they found hair, they found broken tree limbs, they found nests. You know, they build those structures. They found some of those structures literally within a few hundred meters. So you're talking a few hundred yards of where we're camping.
Are you planning to go show us some live footage, like going live at some point?
I am thinking about it. The obvious issue is going to be that it will be, I mean, what I'm planning to do, we've got the two teams coming together on tomorrow night. So we're heading out in the morning. We're going to get the camp set up, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some drone footage and whatever, which will give you an idea of the scope of the place that we're investigating, and then just get some sort of B-roll footage and stuff. And we've got some people coming a bit later who are going to be setting up track cams and things like that. And then the main kickoff is going to start around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, because we're waiting for it to, in these areas, as it starts to creep towards evening, things start to really quieten down, which means there's less chance of having somebody walking through the bush and scaring the ever-loving crap out of them if they turn around. There's four or five people going with cameras, you know. But yeah, excuse me. So that's what we're going to do. We've already started talking about what we're doing, and we're halfway through the show, and we haven't talked about creepy camping adventures yet.
I mean, not for nothing, but it sounds exciting. Which brings up, last week I recorded a episode for the Stranger's Minds reactions, and I came across disturbing camping. So, you know, I'm just, wow, it's just, you know, it's gonna fit so perfect. But I've seen videos where they had some really creepy stuff going on.
Well, we will see what happens. Now, we were told that we're not allowed to have campfires there unless it is a fully enclosed campfire, which is off the ground, just to make sure that we don't start any bushfires or anything like that. So we do have a campfire, which we will be setting up, which I have the old flint.
Oh my God.
But Lynn did go, I am taking matches or a firelighter. I did this once about 2-3 hours south of where we are now, and it took me 2.5 hours, but I said, no, I'm going to do it. She goes, well, I'm going to wait inside a heated cabin until you've got the fire going. 2.5 hours, I was frozen to the core. My fingers were numb because it was only a little one. I felt like a chipmunk trying to crack a nut. And
oh, man.
Got it going, and then I was like Tim the Tool Man. I created fire. It was only little flames like that to start off with, but I created that.
Hey, you know,
I've since got a lot better with them. I've since got a lot better with them, but I do admit it has been a little while since I've been out there. But yeah, I did come across a video the other day, may have even been this morning, the creepiest videos of campfires and what have been captured on the cameras. And I thought, I am not showing Lynn this because Lynn's coming as well, and she's going to be out there with us. So,
man, I tell you, I think one of the things that actually keeps me from doing what you're gonna do is the wildlife. What type of wildlife is there in that area besides the Yowie?
You mean
I mean,
here?
I know. Yeah. I mean, I know you guys got kangaroos and stuff, but are there gonna be like potential bears in that area where you guys are going to be?
No,
No
you don't
bears?
get that kind of thing here, which is probably why we're going camping, because I don't know if I would go camping where there were bears or mountain lions or anything like that. We don't really have anything. We don't have any real predators as such out there. I mean, we have obviously poisonous spiders, snakes, scorpions, things like that. But the snakes are all in hibernation at the moment because we're in the middle of winter.
Oh, that's right.
Kangaroos are not too bad, although I don't know how to describe this, but I saw this video of a report that only happened not even a year or two ago, where the people that made the report said they saw, and don't laugh, a were kangaroo.
A what?
Obviously, what they've witnessed is some sort of a shapeshifter, but it shapeshifted from a big ass kangaroo into a bipedal walking humanoid figure, and it was fairly aggressive. I don't know if it's somebody trying to start some kind of a new urban legend or something like that. I've never heard of that anywhere else, but literally not far from where I live, there was a report of that the four-legged creature. And
So wait, are you talking about a skinwalker?
we wouldn't call them that over here, but the thing is, over here we have different names for things, you know. It was definitely a kangaroo. It was a kangaroo that turned into a person, so I wouldn't say a skinwalker. It's not like a dingo, a were dingo or something silly like that, but a shape-shifting creature of some sort, yes. Now, if you remember, Ray has mentioned that there are some shape-shifting type things out there. He mentioned that those little things, the pickaninnies or whatever there's a lot of different names for them and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are lots of different creatures out there, and they're more on the cryptid kind of scale, whereas if you're talking about what is known and scientifically already present, you're talking kangaroos, snakes, possums, things like that. So hang on, I'm just gonna sorry, I had to turn that down. I've got a bad cough at the moment.
So before we get into the creepy, spooky camping locations, my next question would be, knowing that there are potential threats, are you guys planning to carry?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've got an axe.
Just...
I've got my little camping axe for chopping wood and stuff like that, and I've got a little 4-inch blade.
So right now, your idea for this amazing trip is to go out there with flint and an axe. It sounds like you guys are gonna have a lot of fun.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Sometimes you have to go out and reclaim your manhood, even if it takes you all freaking night to do it. I'm gonna light this damn fire.
Hey, you know what? I
may
wish I
not
was
record
there.
that. I may not record the fire starting part. I don't know if I've got enough tape for that.
Man, you gotta at least put the camera view so we could see you hunched over really close. We have to see just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just because of that, I may do so. I don't know.
Yeah?
I might record a little bit.
Just a little bit, and we can add it
2 hours out of it, and then it's just poof, look at that, one shot.
That'll be amazing for the new On the Fridge entity that we're gonna start doing. So, which, by the way, I am excited for that to start, because it's gonna be about videos of us out in the field, and I have a lot to share.
Good.
So that's gonna be good. So I think we might have to start talking about the spooky camping, because we're already, unless you want to call this episode just catching up.
Well, we have been talking about the camping and stuff like that with what we've got going on. I don't know. You've never been camping before. When I was a kid, you know how you watch all those films in America where they go to summer camp and stuff like that?
And then there's something trying to kill you, whether it be human, animal, or anything trying to kill you in the camping. Yeah, I've seen
that. I did that when I was a kid, and we went to the Lake District, which is in the northwest of the United Kingdom, or mid to northwest of the United Kingdom, and spent 2 weeks in there. And what we did was we went camping, a lot of camping. We went rock climbing, abseiling, caving, a lot of other things that I can't even remember the name of, but went canoeing, we went windsurfing, you know, archery, all of those different kind of things. It was an absolute blast. But when we went camping, we went out to an old quarry, which I thought was a bit weird, considering we were all sort of like 12, 13-year-olds, and literally 20 meters from where we were, there was like a 700 or 800 foot drop down into the pit. It's all abandoned and everything, but where we were at, you know, we were told don't go over there, so we didn't. We went the other way into the bush, down by the streams and things like that. We went exploring, but we stayed away from the pit because we didn't want to die. But we found
good choice.
We found this skinny little cave, which isn't much wider than like a doorway, and we went through it, and it was obviously something that somebody has created at some point in history. And we went through there. Then it opened up into this giant, it was like a circular, I mean, the walls were sheer, went straight up. Excuse me again. And it was like this big circle. And you walked through, and it was probably 30 meters wide, maybe not even that. So we walked over this side, and then there was another one that went through, another man-made tunnel. So we went through that as well, which opened it out into this big, it's almost like an amphitheater kind of thing, and you got the mountains going up, and there was this giant cave, and it is one of the most haunted caves in the United Kingdom. The cave system, they've never fully explored it because it gets too dangerous the further you go in, and there have been a lot of people that have died in there, and there are a lot of spectral visitors that have been witnessed in and around, a lot of strange things, strange lights and things like that within this cave system. Now it is a cave system, but I do believe it works its way down. It does come out partway through the open mine pit, which we weren't going to, so we weren't going far in anyway. We weren't quite that adventurous, but we did go investigating the caves, and we went in as far as 13-year-olds. I mean, I was already interested in the paranormal at that stage, but my sense of adventure was not quite that far advanced at that point. So I would go further than anybody else, but only because, like I say, I went 3 steps further than that guy. You know, I'm going deeper. Stay there. I'm keeping you in sight, but I'm going deeper. You know. Then as soon as he starts to get, no, I'm coming back now. But you hear some weird things, and we did have a few weird experiences there that night, because what happened was we were camping outside. We set the tents up, and this was a mixed holiday, so there were girls and boys, and Jeremy knows where I'll go with this story, because I ended up having my holiday romance with a girl that lasted all of a week, and my first girlfriend with boobs. I was that young. I was very impressed. Back then. Please don't hold it against me now, but as a 13-year-old boy, brain, you know. And we were all on this camping trip, so we wanted to be in. We weren't allowed to be in the same tent. It was guys in one tent and girls in the other. So we wanted to be in the same tent next to each other. But we ended up in, you know, she was in the girls' tent. We were in this tent. And, you know, you could hear each other talking through the tents and things like that. But then the guys are like, you know what? This is boring. Let's go and sleep in the haunted cave itself. Oh, so we said, yeah, let's do that. So all 5 of us, I think it was, just grabbed our sleeping bags and our pillows and our torches, and we went walking through that first little doorway sort of cave, across that big circular opening in the, you know, anybody could have been throwing shit at you. And that's what it appeared to be to me. It's like in medieval times, they would throw somebody down at the pit, and then they would all just throw rocks at them because it was covered in rocks on the floor. And that's what it felt like to me. Like it was like a stoning pit kind of thing. Anyway, you go through that, through the other side, and then you come out, and there's the cave entrance, and it looked a whole lot spookier at night time.
Of course. It
was a full moon this night, so there was a lot of sort of light coming through, but you know how lights and shadows, and they sort of play havoc with you. So we set up,
We went probably 10, 15 meters inside the cave, and it was like this loose rock wall that went all the way up. It's like there'd been a rock slide, and it's just, it was all it seemed solid anyway. So we thought, we're going to sleep at the bottom of that, cramped together like a little raft. Me, next one, all shoulder to shoulder, because we're not having any gaps where something can get in between us and stuff like that.
Of course.
The guy next to me,
keeping you guys each other warm.
Not that bloody close, but the guy next to me, he smoked, and he put his pack of smokies down between where he was and I was, and I'd rolled over in the middle of the night and I flattened the crap out of that packet of cigarettes. He was not happy the next morning, but it was actually partway through the night, because
wait a minute, didn't you say that you guys were like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah.
And so he was already packing smokes?
Yep.
Jeez. Is he still around?
I don't know. I only keep in contact with one of the people that was there that night, and he could tell you all about it, I'll tell you. But he doesn't do social media. Anyway, all night we were seeing things happening deeper in the cave. And we were sort of like,
Mm-hmm.
Even the camp guides wouldn't come down into the cave. Not at night. We were on our own. Our parents did not sign us away for that crap. I can tell you that right now. Now, we did eventually fall asleep. But what happened was, I don't even know what time it was like, had to be the early hours, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. We started hearing rocks, because we were at the bottom of that little rock slide, and we were like, what was that? Now, in England, there's not really any super big predators or anything like that there. You got badgers and squirrels and things like that. I don't know what happens at night. I used to live in a town. This was out in the sticks. So we were all totally peeking, and then we thought we heard a moan of some sort. And we had heard stories, because we did the old ghost story thing beforehand. Scared the crap out of everybody around the campfire, that did. Yeah, so I guess another drink. My throat's sorry, I've been crook all week. I'm only just starting to come half reasonable now. Anyway, we heard more and more things happening, and we were like, should we just go back into the tent, hope somebody hasn't taken it all for themselves? And we're like, yeah, no, we're men, 12 and 13 year olds, we're men, we're gonna stay. And then you heard this, we're all up like that. What the hell was that? And what happened was, we heard a whole load of rocks starting to tumble, just little ones, but we could hear them all starting to tumble down. Something was moving above us. And we don't know how you got up there, because that was a long way up. We looked up and we saw this shadow thing coming down, sliding down these rocks, and we absolutely shat Kit Kats. We were cracking out. We were all up out of our sleeping bags. The guy next to me got up and he goes, smokes, and he grabbed it and we went, he saw the door being flattened. He's like, what the? And then we started to run, because this thing was getting close, and we got, look, we're not signed up for this. And then we heard the laughing start. It was one of the camp counselors who decided to do it the long way around, and he was coming down and absolutely scared the shit out of us. We all started laughing, and we absolutely started. Once the adrenaline got out of our system, we said, "You're an asshole," He couldn't stop laughing. He thought it was the funniest thing. He goes, "I wish I had a camera to get all your faces, because we would have been like, crapping ourselves." As he said that, we heard something coming from the deeper tunnel that goes right into the mountain. We just get, because there was 2 males and there was a female camp leader on this group. All right, where's the other one? And he was like, and we saw things. Now, this is the cave where this thing gets sighted all the time. We said, what? No, you've scared us once, you're not doing it again. And we looked on his face, and his face was like the same as ours was just before that. And that's when we realized it wasn't anybody from our. And then we heard rocks inside that cave start to move. And the rocks in there were like solid on the floor. It's not like this one where it's coming down on an angle where you throw one, it rocks and tumbles and they all hit others, and that you get this little cascade thing going on. This was a cave, pretty flat as it's heading in, and we were hearing it's like something has actually moved stuff or it's throwing stuff. So we heard these noises. We were already packed up because we shit ourselves when he came down. But I still, crap you not, when the big noise happened, we turned to go, like, he was already halfway across and out and on his bloody way. So I was like, well, if he's doing that, poof. It was like, have you ever seen that film Chariots of Fire? Where they're all running on the beach at the start. You know, like $6 million man stuff.
God.
It was like a bloody sprint. We would have beaten Usain Bolt out of that bloody cave. It was, and then
so basically your adult guardian supervision person was like, F these kids.
if he actually said that, yeah, but I'm pretty sure he broke the sound barriers. He would have just gone, and then we would have heard, fuck you. Afterwards, he was off. He was, I mean, this guy would have been in his mid-20s. You know, he seemed old to us, but he would have probably been in his mid-20s. And he absolutely shattered himself. He was gone.
He basically just left a bunch of 12, 13-year-olds to fend for themselves coming out of a haunted cave.
That's a creepy thing that was in the haunted place. Yeah. So that happened when I was a kid. That happened when I was a kid, when I was camping. And one thing I get from that, besides the whole thing that happened in the cave, is I absolutely love sitting around the campfire telling the old ghost stories and stuff, because there's nothing better. Quite often if you're at your house and you're having a barbecue out the back, or you got a fire pit going in your backyard, you'll tell ghost stories and people will get the chills and have a laugh because they've got their drinks, they've got their nibbles, they've got a house that they're familiar with behind them, you got fences, you got your dogs.
You're safe.
When you're in the middle of nowhere, that little dance the fire does, which reflects everything behind you, the shadows are constantly moving all around, and you're telling these creepy stories. You don't know who's back there, you don't know what's back there, you don't know what's right behind you. And if you remember our interview with Ray Doherty, when they went out on a low light investigation, him and his son, it got that close and actually breathing down the back of his neck.
Yeah. I remember that story.
That kind of environment for ghost stories is the absolute best, and I fully recommend anybody do it. You've got to get out there, man. You've got to go out and give it a go.
I mean, the closest thing to, mind you, I was born and raised in New York. There's, obviously there are parks and stuff like this, but as far as camping, I think the closest thing to a camping experience I've had was going back to where my parents come from, which is the Dominican Republic, but not spending overnight in the wilderness. We would find like a good river, cook at the river, stay there from morning till night, but then we just head home. We camping with a tent. I honestly, if you tell me to build a tent, it's going to look like the Blair Witch symbol, because I have no experience with camping whatsoever.
Well, Lynn wants something decent. So the last time I was out camping, I had a little, I think it's a 4-man tent, 2-man tent, 4-man tent, something. No, it was a 3-man tent actually. And it literally fit on the back of my motorbike. So I rode out there on the Harley, parked it up, put the tent up, and crashed in there. And the next day, pulled it all down. But we've got an 8-man tent. It's a 2-room 8-man tent now, and we've got our nice blow-up mattress to put in one side. It's a self-inflating mattress, and then all the sleeping bags and everything. So they've got the sleeping quarters to one side, and then we've got like a little living area with a awning that pops up out the front.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds amazing. It sounds cool. I do want to actually do it one day, but I don't know if I'll go to an area where you guys are going to go tomorrow.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, you wait until we got planned for next year. We're going even deeper into the south. We're going right out into the big jarrah forests and stuff then.
How long is the ride from where you are to where you're going?
I can't say. I can't give any information away at the moment. I'll tell you off air. But it's, well, all I'll say is it's...
ETA.
Estimated. No, not even telling you that. Because for privacy and safety reasons, the guys that have all been told about it are sworn to secrecy about the location, because if we do find something, we're going to be going back. You know, we're going to see. We're going to see how we go. I mean, Yowie, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, usually 99% of them you get nothing, or you might get a couple of vocalizations or tree knocks and things like that. So we're going to try all of those things to try and bait them into responding and stuff. May even do some of those stupid yelp noises that you...
I was actually very curious, and
me in the middle of the woods. Oh, if something responded, like, how do I respond to that?
I mean, I was actually very curious, and I was about to ask Ray on air, because he did mention that, you know, Yowies have he's heard them like a sexual kind of noise.
Yeah, not that one. Last thing I want is and they have this big bloody 10-foot bloody will come around and goes.
Okay. So
you'll see Fat Me do some sort of a land speed record getting back to the car. I don't know how much longer we have, but how far is, because I'm assuming you guys already planned, you guys already know where you're gonna camp out, you know where you guys are gonna be. How far is that location to the cemetery? We are gonna have to jump in the car to get to the cemetery from where we're camping out, but it is all in the same connected area. If we could do a straight walk through the bush, but it probably, one, it's unfamiliar territory, and it would probably take too long to get there. So we're going to take a couple of cars around to the cemetery, and we're going to come. Some guys are going to do this cemetery area, and then we're going to work our way in on the Yowie investigation. We're going to go so far in, and then we're going to work our way back out the same way back to the cars, and then the next day we're going to go in from where we're camping and head in the other direction, hopefully meet the part where we were, and then map out any points of area. We're going to GPS lock them in, and then we're going to go back there again the second night.
Man,
but the second night there's just going to be two of us, myself and my beautiful wife.
Man, you guys, you see, like, people like this, they've never seen the Blair Witch Project, so they don't know what they're getting.
I've seen the Blair Witch.
And how could you do that? That would be wild for me.
Because we are all in it to find what we can find. There's
but that's night one.
There's one thing that are coming for us all, and we never know when that time is going to be. You can't jump the queue. You can't jump to the back of the queue. You don't know where you are. That doesn't mean you go out
to look for the time.
You're not. It doesn't mean it's there, does it? It's just you something could happen to you walking out the door. You could nick something shaved. I mean, okay, it's pretty extreme shaving if you nick something and bleed out, but you know, accidents happen. You cut throat. Oh shit, boing, you gone. Shaving accident. You know, getting hit by a car.
I don't think that's one of the 1,000 ways to die, but it's okay.
Anyway, all I'm saying is live life on the edge a little bit. You know, you've got people that jump out of planes. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. My wife wants to. Lynn wants to, but I'm not. All I'm saying
I want to do that because I've done bungee jumping. I've done a bunch of stuff myself. I mean, you know, you already know more or less of the things that I've already. And besides, we're in the paranormal field. We're always putting ourselves in danger one way or another.
So what's the difference with this?
There are a lot of aspects when you are putting yourself in a vulnerable spot. I'm actually going to repeat what I said on the reaction video that I have. there's just so many aspects of danger that, you know, it's, first of all, besides wildlife, if you're out there doing some sort of investigation, you know, you have that also. I mean, you're in an area where there's yowies, so, you know, we do know that there are, you know, friendly cuddle ones, but there's also, you know, territorial ones. So you have the paranormal aspect, the wildlife, and not only that, you know, there's not a lot of things that I'm afraid of when I go out into the field, but you have to take consideration the living also.
Mhm.
So that's like, you know, 3 aspects of danger that you have to watch out for. But here's my advice, because this goes on with basically, that it'll keep you guys safe. It'll keep you guys safe. But if you guys get into showing, you know, like expressing your love for one another, they'll give you the privacy and leave you alone.
I don't think that's going to be happening this camping trip. Or you're talking about with the Bigfoot.
But make sure you put the lantern on the floor showing upwards.
It's all about the lighting, mate. It's all about the lighting.
Austin Powers.
That's it. Anyway, I think we've deteriorated into that silly part of the night, so I think it is time for us to go for this one.
Wait, what is your top 5 creepy camping locations in Australia? And I'll give you top 5 creepy camping location here in the States.
I don't know. I haven't.
I thought you Googled it.
No. This was an entire talk about, like I said, we were talking about what we've got going on this weekend. And I thought, let's talk about creepy camping locations. And, you know, we're going to a creepy camping place. So that was it. I didn't actually do any research on this.
All right. Top 5 in the States. Holy Ghost Campground in New Mexico. Braley's Pond in Virginia.
Yeah.
Big Moose Lake in New York. Oh, hey, look, New York. Who'd have thought? Lake
Shawnee. What about the Shawnee amusement park?
I don't think that's a camping site. I don't even see it part of the... I mean, we're talking about camping sites, but Lake Shawnee was more of an amusement park.
Yeah, I know, but can you imagine camping out there the night?
I mean, that's what I want to get with Jackson and Forsaken Souls to see, you know, because they actually spend the night out there.
Well, Jax wants to come back on again as soon as we're ready, so let's arrange that for the next week or 2.
Oh, there you go. So
I'll
then
check
she
the
could
date.
share
I can
her
see what
camping
we can do
sites. Because the only camping stories from Lake Shawnee that we heard from her was involving, you know, the beef jerky stealing.
See, what you got to remember as well with Jax is that she has got so much travel that she's doing because she's got the 2 shows on the go at the moment and all the investigation stuff for the cold cases that she's working on. That
oh yeah, she's busy.
She has to be doing some camping out or at least sleeping in a car in some places.
Oh, for sure.
So she'd have a few bits and pieces. There was one story about, it was in Louisiana where this trucker, you know how the truckers will pick a spot and they'll pull over on the side of the road and get a night's
rest
nip,
spots,
and then they're often running again in the morning a few hours later, but they don't usually sleep for long. And there was this guy, he said he pulled over on this little sort of side road, but there was a big bit off to the side so that the cars could go up and down without any kind of impedance. So he was good and out of the way. So he camped up there. He said there was a creepy vibe to the place. There was a bit of fog around and stuff like that. So he thought, good time to have a bit of a nap. We'll wake up in a few hours. The fog will hopefully have gone. But my thinking was, well, usually the fog's settling in. But he did that. And then he started feeling some bangs on the side of the truck and stuff. And he goes, it's okay, somebody's snuck up and they're causing issues and stuff like that. So he sort of got his baseball bat and he's come from the little, you know, they got the little sleeper at the back of the cabin. He sort of nudged himself over the seat to have a look and see what's going on, only to see what looked like a Civil War reenactment, just soldiers walking past. And he's going, what the hell is this shit? He said the fog had a weird green glow to it from sort of the ground level.
Jesus.
And he goes, that was a bit creepy. But as he got into the front seat, so sort of, you know, rubbing his eyes and trying to have a look, he looked down
And one of them, as it was looking up at him like that, there was only like half a face there. It was half decomposed and everything. And he was like, what the... He went over to his car, the truck, jumped in the driver's side, tried to fire the truck up. It wouldn't go. So he pulled the lights on to light everything up. And this entire platoon stopped and turned around. Every one of them was what he described as zombie soldiers. They then started to walk back towards the lights. He said he absolutely shat himself. It was on one of the TV shows that's on YouTube somewhere. It's worth watching. I haven't been able to find the full story again. I found the part where they start the story to when he pulls over and then the video cuts off. So I've got to find the full video somewhere. I put that as a sort of camping thing. Even though he was in his truck, he was still out in the middle of nowhere, not sure of what's all around him.
I mean, technically speaking, it's considered trucking.
Yeah.
But sleeping in the truck. By the way, you're welcome, guys. If I didn't hold Gary hostage with naming 5 spots, you wouldn't hear this amazing story.
Well, I can tell you what. We were supposed to go, but I'll just tell you one, and it's not really creepy. You know that we've been down to the Albany quarantine station, and you've seen some of the footage that we've got down there and everything.
Hopefully I can make my way out there and we, definitely experience that.
Actually, I got a message from Jax. Jax is looking at possibly being here by the end of the year.
Oh man!
I don't know if it'll come across. You know what plans like this are ridiculously hard to actually end up locking in, but she has an intention there that we will probably talk about. But one of the first time I think we took, one of the times when I took Lynn down, one of the first times I took Lynn down there, I think her daughter came and I think one of her friends came because they were interested in the paranormal, and her partner's mother came. They all decided they wanted to camp out in Swags rather than having one of the haunted cabins. Because we actually stayed in the isolation hospital, right in the room, right next to the morgue is where Lynn and I stayed. And
that's amazing.
They went to the other side on the low side of the building and they camped there. They set their swags up. 2 nights they spent there. What they don't realize is that there are bodies buried underneath that building, only a few yards from where they were sleeping. And
man,
it was probably only 20 yards, 30 yards from where they were sleeping to the cemetery.
You see, sometimes I think that there's something wrong with me because I'll definitely do that more easier than camping out in the woods.
It's like...
I would love to do that.
It's about 7 or 8 kilometers to the nearest other building other than the quarantine station itself.
I definitely would see myself pulling out one of the morgue trays and putting the sleeping bag and I would love to do that.
Believe me, when we get you there, we'll put you on that slab and God, that sounds like something out of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that. When you go on the slab and lay on the slab, it's like every body that's been on that slab is trying to hold you down to it.
Man.
Jeremy will tell you about it. Jay will tell you about it. Any person that's been with us who's laid on that slab, it is difficult to get back up. It's like things, when you're lying on your bed and people are sort of holding you down by your shoulders and you're trying to get up and you've got to put that extra strain in to get up. It's like that, but there's nobody doing it. You've got to put extra effort into getting back up and getting off that slab.
We're going to do it.
On that, it is time to go, and happy camping if you're going camping. We're doing that tomorrow night. I'm going to have to get some good ghost stories for everybody because we're going to have a little campfire when we conclude the first night's investigation. I think there's a few of us in one section and there's a few that are going to camp out in a different part. So might be a few of us and we might actually tell a few ghost stories, and I'll try and film the whole thing. So that will be
Sounds
interesting.
Good. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
All right. Well, on that, everybody, good night for our first night back, and hope to see you all again soon.
All right. Have a good one, you guys.
Keep looking up.